Thanks to EA for inviting me to the early access event for the new Sims 4 Horse Ranch expansion pack. G'day and welcome to my channel. I am Labushka and today we are taking a look at a build that I made using the new Sims 4 Horse Ranch expansion pack and also the base game. Firstly, before we jump into the sort of house tour, I want to say a big thank you to EA for providing me with an early access code of the new pack. It was super unexpected, but like super welcome because it was a ton of fun to have this for, I think it was a couple of weeks actually before release, and to play around with the pack, the new features, and particularly the build and buy section as well. Now I have here a cup of tea. It's like appropriately a unicorn for this video and hopefully for the rest of the videos that I record today as well. So it's themed, you know, I feel like it's on point. So here we are in Chestnut Ridge and I made two builds during my time with this early access. And the first one that I want to show you is down here. It's this lot here. It's still called Canter Cottage. I have to rename it. We can do that now, but it's in Riders Glen. So if this kind of section up the top here is quite like desert, then you have like the central area, and Riders Glen is actually more of like the, I don't know, like the nectar making community. When you have a look at it, you know, it's got vineyards in the background, and actually on one of the builds it has vineyards too. So I think it's this one, as you can see, like out the front here. So it's kind of like not maybe really appropriate because it has a mini vineyard, which I'll show you, but it's on the 30 by 30 lot. I think lots of people that had this pack early were building on this lot here, the 64 by 64, and I mean that is a really big build. I think for me this little one here still took around about 10-11 hours to do because I don't build that often, you know, so it kind of still took a while. You know, I didn't want to tackle a 64 by 64. So a 30 by 30 I thought was modest and not too crazy to tackle. One other thing, you'll see my name kind of bouncing around the screen. And of course, that's just because this is an early access version of the pack. And you'll see on the screen as well, it says not final version of the software. So what that just means is there might be some small changes when the actual pack releases, but I think on the whole, it's quite the same. Okay, so we are here. Now I wanted to call this, I think Cozy Ranch is actually like pretty appropriate. And at the moment, it doesn't have any lot traits. So you can put those on yourself depending, if you download this build, you can put them on yourself depending on the kind of like traits that you're looking for, and are you looking for any challenges, because there is one new lot challenge which is the wild prairie grass, but I did try to put some wild prairie grass on the lot so that there's kind of some to start with, because when I was playing with this pack I noticed that it doesn't necessarily kind of spawn straight away, so to speak. So I thought it might be good to have like some to start with if you wanted to play on this lot and you wanted to have like your sim pick it for the horse or to sell. So this is Cozy Ranch, that's what we're calling it. And the 30 by 30 lot is, I think it was actually a little bit difficult to build on this lot and try to fit everything that I wanted. I kind of, in hindsight, almost wish there was like, this was a 40 by 30 lot, but I think actually it worked out really well and better than I anticipated. So it's only, if you saw in the top, I put like one bedroom and one bathroom. So it is meant to be cozy for like two sims, or you could turn the main bedroom into kind of like, I don't know, somehow shared between the parent and the adult, at least till they're like, you know, an older age where it's maybe not appropriate anymore. But, you know, you could rearrange it a little bit if you wanted to. Now, as you can see, I went like a little bit crazy with the with the landscaping. I tend to do that, but I'm not good at doing simple landscaping, but I also wanted to kind of have it look more like wild. I didn't want it to seem super manicured or anything, so I put like a lot of these little wildflowers and kind of tried to put different bits and pieces of like different styles of plants, and I use debug stuff too. I think I've almost never used debug. in like anything, not even for my personal gameplay. So this was like a really big step up for me. And there is also one of these boards here that you can use with your sim to, you know, hire the ranch hand. You can buy like mini sheep and goats. You can arrange like a ranch event or whatever it is. So you can do all of that from this board as well. Now, of course, like all this stuff at the front here is just decorative, but you could change that up if you wanted to. But I thought it was really cool to like have it kind of look like, you know, somebody drove in here with the, like, what is it, horse carriage? No, it's not a carriage, but you know what I'm talking about, and with the car. And I tried to put some like decorative things in here as well to make it look a little bit more realistic. So there's a lot of decorative stuff here, but I tried to make it also useful. So I tried to put in some like, you know, activities for your Sims as well. So it does come with a couple of bikes. Now, if we switch into, you know, sort of the Sims 3 camera, you can see that I've got the piano out here, and I tried to put as well these like hanging baskets that I found in Debug, which I had no idea they even existed. And also there's a new rocking chair, so I wanted to have that as well, because I thought if there are any elders, then it'd be really cool for them to have something to do as well. Like, I know they can sit here and knit if you have like the knitting pack, but I like the idea of them sitting in the rocking chair and like being able to reminisce. I thought that was a really cool idea as well. So we'll go into the house here and you can have a look at what's inside. I'll show you first from the bird's eye view. So, oh my gosh, the color theme for this took me so many goes to get. Like, you would not believe how many times I actually changed the swatch colors of everything in this house. It was actually the most time-consuming part of the entire build. The rest of it was quite simple. There is a ton of like awesome new furniture here. I tried to use pretty much only things from the new pack. Like, of course, there's no like stove or a fridge that come with the new pack, so you have to use base game. But this is only base game and horse ranch. So if you don't really have a whole bunch of packs, this would suit easily. But you have kind of an entryway here, which I'll show you. And then you have an open kitchen dining lounge area, which I really wanted to do. I don't like when everything's like really separated into individual rooms. That somehow like freaks me out. I don't know why. There is a guitar here though as well. So you have this open area here. Then I had this like generously sized area here for a bathroom. And I was like, this is way too big, right? For a bathroom. So I decided to separate it out into a bathroom. And without a toilet. This one doesn't have a toilet, although you could fit one in here if you wanted. And to have the toilet separate. And I thought that's good too, because if you have two Sims living here, or even if you have guests come over, you know, you can have one Sim using the toilet and the others can still go in here and attend to their hygiene needs without, you know, having to worry about this like embarrassed buffs or having to worry about any kind of issues like that, you know, a Sim kind of wetting themselves is what I was thinking. And then you have a bedroom here, and you also have a computer. So that is pretty much it. Now I'll show you kind of from inside what things look like. So when you come in here, you walk into the entranceway. There is some decorative stuff, but also some useful things. So of course this is really decorative. I wanted to put, hang on a sec. I wanted to put here, this is like one of the new sort of wardrobe items you can get. I know this is kind of like in the open, but there was no kind of option where you could just have like jackets, you know, where you come in, you take your jacket off, like that sort of rack. So I sort of imagined that this could be either male or female. Like, it's not particularly masculine in my eyes, at least, the clothing that's here. So this was the idea with the entryway. And of course you have, you know, the mirror to check, you know, how you'd be looking before you head out. So on the other side of the entrance, you have, of course, the shoe rack. So you can decide if you want your shoes to have, your Sims to have their shoes on or off in the house. You have like this little bench where, like, I imagine you could sit down and, you know, put your shoes on. Another kind of rack for your bits and bobs. This is just a storage chest. I have to admit I've spent more time in build and buy mode actually than in gameplay mode. So I think that this is functional. I imagine that it is a functional storage piece, and I love that because we have some cool ones. I think there was particularly one that came with Eco Lifestyle, like boxes, kind of cardboard boxes, and that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't have them right now, and I think this is going to fit a lot better with, you know, cottage living and Brindleton Bay, those kind of more country style builds. Also, there is the new, what do you call it? The new like radio here as well, the shortwave shindig radio, so that your Sims can dance, listen to music, get positive buffs. And there is a new lantern as well in the game. So I've put that here, kind of imagining, you know, that if it was dark outside and your Sim needed to go out, you know, they can take like the lantern with them. I thought that was a really cute idea as well. Just put the walls down a little bit for now. For this like lounge area, there's kind of a couple of things that I put on the side table here, or the like end table. So, I mean, this top row is all decorative and only the bottom two items. So there's the voodoo doll and there is the future cube. So I put those there as kind of a couple of little extra activities. You might not want to use the voodoo doll. I'm not suggesting that like an evil Sim lives here or somebody who's like, you know, trying to be mischievous, but it's there if you want to use it. And honestly, the reason that I put it there was because I didn't have access to all the packs, so I didn't have as many items to choose from to put there. And, you know, so I had to be picky. And also a lot of items don't necessarily fit on this like more narrow bottom shelf very well. So I was a bit limited, but I thought it was a fun idea. We also have a guitar, which I thought was appropriate for the theme of this pack. Now, the TV, I haven't tested it out. I assume that it's functional because I have done this before like this with, you know, the TV kind of in the fireplace, and it has worked very well, or worked fine, I should say. And then this is just some decorative stuff here, you know, these wine boxes, and these wine bottles are from Debug, so they're really fun to just like put all over the place. So of course the dining area is just like really simple, but I really, really love these new colors on these chairs. I think, whoops, if we select the chair, I mean, we have these, where are they? The sort of, yeah, these ones. So I just can't camera it today. I tell you, I'm having difficulty with the camera. So these more kind of like cowhide looking swatches are really fun, but I also really appreciate these new colored ones because I can see myself using these chairs in a ton of different builds. So I'm really excited about that. The kitchen is quite basic, just using, you know, I wanted this to have like a really cottagey feel. So I wanted that, you know, there was a lot of wood like for the floor and to have, you know, wood paneling in some form on the walls. I did try to have like one of the new swatches of like paneling, the sliding on the walls where it's just like all wood, but it was super overkill and like I was having heaps of trouble, like I said, with the color scheme of this build. So I needed to kind of like tone down the walls so I could get the rest of it to more or less match. So you have here just the kitchen. Of course, you have the bin, which is always important to remember. A bunch of like decorative things, including these new plates, which is like a total winner in my opinion for this pack. And then, I mean, this stove, when I saw that it was base game, I actually didn't know that it was base game. I was like, whoa, this is totally perfect. So, and this is, I think, functional off the grid as well. So you could, if you wanted to, go off the grid, you know, if you want to play with this build. And I really appreciated that with these new cabinets up the top, we have another option, like end option with the plates. I think the only other one that had it was the country living, or not country, the cottage, anyway, that kit, you know, the country or cottage, whatever it was, kitchen kit. And I think there was one from there, either that or it's from Cottage Living, the expansion pack. I can't remember. But anyway, one super fun detail that I particularly love is when you have this like corner bit of, what do you call it, of surfaces, bench? I must be half asleep today. There is actually a built-in bin here. Now, of course, these, you can see there's another one over here. They're not functional, so, you know, it's important to still add a bin, but I thought it was a really nice detail that they added with these anyway. Okay, so moving on to the bathroom and that. I mean, these are pretty basic, but like super fun. I'm not a huge fan of this new bathtub. I gotta tell you, to me, this looks super uncomfortable. Not the fact that like it's wood, right? That looks okay. But this little bit here, the back, it's like, it reminds me of sitting, if not assuming everybody sat in a church with hard, hard benches like the pews, but if you've ever been, you know, sitting there or sitting on any kind of wooden bench that doesn't have, like for a long period of time, you know, and it doesn't have any kind of cushioning for your back, man, it starts to hurt. Like it cuts into you. So, you know, when I saw this, I was kind of like getting along those vibes, right? I was like, I don't know, like after a while, you know, I would like to have a bath, but after a while, I kind of would want to get out of this one. It wouldn't sort of be particularly motivating to stay there for a long time and wrinkle up like, you know, a raisin. But anyway, the shower is kind of nice. I think this will also fit like Strangeville. This gives me Strangeville vibes. The bathtub is nice, but it's a little bit too rustic for my liking. And this is actually the new, I guess, can you call it a cupboard bathroom, like a bathroom cabinet? And I put up here both like kind of men and women's like decorative things like the nail polish and the cologne and stuff, because I don't know who's going to be living here, and I didn't want to say this is for a woman or this is for a man or whoever. So, you know, I tried to make this build like a little bit generic in that sense, or just neutral. I guess neutral is a better word. And then we didn't get a new toilet with this pack, but we did get a new sink. So that's here, a new extra cupboard. And that's about it. I made sure there's a toilet roll in here, which is, of course, very important. There's just some more decorative stuff here. Just like none of this is functional. And I had to, like, this is actually the original size of the new curtain. There's only one curtain, disappointingly, that comes with a new pack. But this one here, like, is the sized up version, just by like one, I think. And this is actually the original version. So it's kind of super short, which is possibly annoying, because it would have been nice if there were like a longer version of this, because this looks a little bit ridiculous, but at the same time, it means that it doesn't cut into anything that you put like in front of the window. So I didn't really have any other good options that I liked for this curtain, but you know, this will do. I think it kind of works anyway. And I like that it doesn't obstruct the view outside that much. So I think the view is quite nice. You can see into the garden. You have like the little cactus, you know, in the background as well. And, you know, you can pop your head around. If people are sitting outside, you can see how that's going. Is everything okay? And just also, this is like the little tiny vineyard that comes in the back yard as well. All right, on to the bedroom. Oh my gosh, the bedroom, I have to tell you, it was painful, and this camera is just not working for me today. The bedroom was painful. I had a ton of issues matching furniture in here. And first, I made it like super cozy. So as you can see, there's like it's not that cozy anymore. It's quite like spacious in a way. Like there's stuff in here, but it doesn't feel cramped. And I think originally when I was first doing this, it was like really cramped because I wanted it to feel really cozy, but then it just felt way too cramped. So I ended up like expanding the room just a little bit and making sure that there was kind of room for stuff, maybe a little bit too much room. But I also wanted this to be a really simple bedroom. So even though I put some artwork on the walls, I didn't want to overdo it because I wanted it to feel like, I don't know, like more like if you've ever stayed at a country property or, you know, like, you know, a hotel or any kind of like B&B or anything like that. Like this really reminded me of those vibes. Like you have a little bit of artwork and it feels nice and cozy and comfy, but it's really not over the top. It's kind of got stuff in it, but it's simple at the same time. At least that's my vibe with this bedroom. So, you know, and your Sims can look at the artwork to get positive buffs. So it's like, it's not wholly bad. But this is one of the new, 2 new double beds. I think there are 2 new double beds and, you know, just some base game lamps and things. You have the computer. So that's pretty much the house. Now, this is actually a functional horse object, so they can play with it. I'm not sure if they showed that in the like public live stream. I didn't watch it. I was busy. Okay, so I didn't have time. But this is a functional object for your horses, and it's the only one that fit. Now, if you wanted to download this lot, the benefit is that you do have the horse jumping like kind of interaction thing here, but also that there should be there should be some barrels not that far away. Like see, right there in the center. So if the house is here, you have the horse jumping fence there, and then over here you have the barrels. And I think that's a really big benefit in this pack. They've put those items like everywhere, so you don't necessarily need to fit them on your lot. And I really like that because they actually do take up a lot of room. So I was like not really fussed about having them having them on the lot, really. I was like, the ball, at least you can't really find anywhere, but the other two you can. There is, of course, just like some decorative stuff here. You know, I like the extra barrels sitting around the place, maybe old barrels, maybe they're empty. I'm not really sure. And the hay as well. There is room. Now, I assume this door is functional. If this is in the way, I guess you could just like, you know, move it. See, it's already telling me. So I might have to like move it out a bit for it to be functional. Then maybe we can just like leave it there for now. In here, we have enough room for one horse, but horses can also stand up and sleep. They can just like lay around on the ground and sleep. So you could have more than one horse. It's not necessary that like every horse has its own stall. So that's pretty cool, actually. I was surprised by that when I first played around with the pack, and really grateful because these are also like kind of, they require a bit of space. And of course, there is nectar making. So as I said, this is kind of more like the nectar making. Oh, there you can see the vineyard. The nectar making area you can see in the background. There's also like more kind of vineyard looking properties. So, and this one here that's on the screen now with like this blue kind of like outdoor shed. I mean, that has its own cellar, you know, so this is like heavily nectar making area. So at least I put that in here. And I made sure there's also some of the wine racks. And of course you can add as many as you need. And then just some more like decorative items to give more of that kind of, you know, nectar making vibe. I like the idea that somebody lives here. They're kind of into horses, but they're also into nectar making. It's not just nectar making. So I'm always really tempted to say wine making. I have to remember that. Keeping it PG. Okay, out the back here is, of course, the garden. I think this took me like the least amount of time, but actually was the most fun because I personally really like gardening in my everyday life. So this was like really a really chill part of the build and like just really nice to put out all the plants, honestly. I'm going to just put it out there. I don't use terrain paints that much. So the terrain paints did take me a bit of time. I think I did a fair job. I'm just going to say that. And I also continued here with the wild feel of the garden. So I put, you know, a bunch of things. I tried to put like, you know, some decorative things as well. This is the new, these are like debug items. So they're like vineyard things. And there's like a ton of gardening space as well. If you're like me and you love that your Sims just garden all the time, then that's probably a good thing for you. And then I really liked the gnomes. I don't know how other people feel about the gnomes, but like I put a few here. You know, I liked the idea that the person that's living here or the people that are living here kind of, you know, like the gnomes. So they probably like Harvest Fest too. I really like collecting the gnomes from Harvest Fest. That's become like a real thing of mine in the game. So, you know, some people find it annoying, but when Harvest Fest comes around, I'm like, yes, this is it. This is the time, you know, to get excited. We, of course, have the new barbecue. And then also, of course, I remember the outdoor bin. And you have here just the nice, like, this is new, actually. It might look similar to the one from, I think it was Granite Falls. Or that pack, the outdoor retreat pack. I think it came in there. It looks similar to that stuff, right? And some people will say that it's recycled. That's their opinion. I think this is like different enough that it's nice to have another variation. That's my opinion. So that stuff is here as well. So you have like a nice outdoor fire where you can just sit around and chat and tell stories and all of that stuff. This is prairie grass right here. There's more prairie grass here and here. And I think there was some also, yeah, around the lot. This is like a new pea bush or like the woohoo bush, depending on how you view it. But there's one tucked away back here. I like the idea. I think they're very cheeky and that kind of, you know, makes me laugh. But there's more prairie grass around the place. And I think there might be one or two around here as well. Yeah, so there's actually Is that one there in the corner? No, that's just wild grass. So there's actually some more prairie grass here as well. So if you download this lot, I think that like you can already have the prairie grass there. If not, you just might have to wait for it to grow a bit. And you might have seen the price before, but the price for this lot is 72,585 simoleons. So, I mean, it's definitely not a starter home. You know, I just really wanted to go all out with this pack, and I hope that you like it. So that's about it. That is the first build that I made with this new pack, and I hope you like it. If you want to download it, I will be uploading it to my Origin. No, it's not Origin ID anymore. It's like my ID, you know, my gallery ID, whatever it is. So I'll be uploading it anyway to the gallery, and my name up there is the same as here, Labushka. So if you want to download it, it will be there for you. But thank you for watching, and I will see you for the next open house / build tour on the channel.